There are 13 different types of PMS symptoms. That's a lot. And they fit into 5 different categories. And if you stay until the end, you are going to understand why PMS happens and the meaning behind PMS and what you can do about it. If that sounds exciting to you, go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and make sure to click that bell below to be the first to know when I post a new video on hormone optimization education. And if you're new here, my name is Omega Zumpano, and this channel is dedicated to helping you optimize your hormones and make hormone optimization education available freely to personal trainers. And I've helped my personal training students and my coaching clients all reduce PMS using customized strategies that I teach them in the coaching program. And if you want to learn more about the Academy for Personal Trainers, you can find the link in the description below. They are application interview links. So now, let's go over those 5 different types of PMS and the underlying hormonal imbalances at play and ways to give the body what it needs so that PMS is a thing of the past. Can I get an amen? So first, let's get the term PMS down. PMS stands for premenstrual syndrome, and like all illnesses in the category of syndromes, this one can be changed with simple lifestyle adjustments. The first and most common PMS symptom is cyclical anxiety, and this includes mood changes too. And this used to be my biggest PMS symptom also. Not fun. Cyclical anxiety can be a symptom of too much estrogen in relationship to progesterone, when estrogen should be dropping. So if estrogen remains high, then we can have anxiety and a few other symptoms I'll mention later. Lifestyle choices that cause estrogen to be higher than progesterone include drinking too much coffee, too much exposure to environmental estrogens like BPAs, a lack of dietary fiber, being constipated, not enough B12, or stress in general. So a good place to start with reducing estrogen is obviously decreasing stress where you can and eating more fibrous foods. Literally, fiber includes any whole foods, any vegetable or grain will do. Just choose a few you like. Also, reduce the amount of caffeine you take in before your period. Even switching to half calf, then decaf can be helpful. Make sure you take daily bowel movements and get enough B12. Now, B12 is typically high in animal products, and you can also get B12 in nutritional yeast or even buy a supplement. And the last thing is getting environmental estrogens like BPAs and phthalates out. And if you want to know more about those environmental estrogens, or if you have anxiety and it's something that you want to work with, I recommend watching this video after this one. It's a video on high estrogen and how to reduce it. The next symptom we'll address is cravings. Cravings can, in general, be the body cluing us into what we ought to eat. And before I dive into the scientific whys, I want you to know that we actually burn more calories before our period starts. So that being said, there is a difference between being hungry because your body is using more energy versus having legit cravings for very specific food. So if you have a huge need for carbs and become a cookie monster before your period starts, chances are that you have high insulin insufficiency in the second half of your cycle. When we have cyclical insulin insufficiency, our body isn't doing a very good job at taking the sugar we eat and putting it into our muscles and our liver for storage. So if this is you, I recommend having a combination of fiber, fat, and protein at every snack and at every meal, and eating at least every 2 to 4 hours. That's what I recommend for my Fitness Flow students. And personally, I love having avocado toast with a hard-boiled egg, slices of lunch meat with crackers, veggies, and a hummus dip, or peanut butter and apple slices. Those all fit the categories of fiber, fat, and protein. The recommended follow-up video I have will detail the different types of cravings that we have and help you customize your own food plan so you don't turn into a cookie monster. Although everyone loves a cookie. I'll link to that video in the description below so you can watch it after this one too. Cyclical depression. Now, this is very common, and unlike anxiety, this can be coupled with confusion and hopelessness. I've been there. Keep in mind that cyclical depression is different from PMDD, which is short for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It's different because of the diagnosis. We need a doctor to tell us if we have PMDD, which, if you have it, you have it. But we don't need a doctor to tell us if we suffer from cyclical depression. That is very easy for us to identify. And cyclical depression is also easier to address. So, like cyclical anxiety, estrogen is high in relation to progesterone when it comes to cyclical depression. So the recommendations I made for reducing estrogen also apply here. With cyclical depression, serotonin could also be low, and if you are restricting carbs or on a new medication or using drugs, a lack of vitamin D could be in play too. So to help naturally increase serotonin, try eating more complex carbs like wild rice, sweet potatoes, or squash. Add foods in like vitamin D, which includes like salmon, eggs, avocado, and perhaps you even go with a vitamin D supplement, and make sure to get outside and get in the sun. And doing low intensity exercise. So exercise in general helps increase endorphins, but make sure to keep this exercise intensity on the lower side. And I have a whole playlist for exercise and the cycle, and I'll link to that below so you can watch it later. Before we continue on to talk about breast pain and water retention and period pain, tell me in the comments what is the most common PMS symptom for you. The one that is most common when it comes up is breast pain for me. So that includes hyperhydration. Hyperhydration encompasses the category of breast pain, swelling, and water retention. Anyone who's ever weighed themselves before their period, we all just weigh a little bit more. And before you freak out and think that you're gaining weight, just know that this is actually water weight, and your uterus also doubles in size. So the reason breast swelling, tenderness, bloating, and water retention happens is because of the hormone aldosterone. Aldosterone and the predominant hormone at this phase of the cycle, progesterone, are correlated. So when progesterone rises, so too does the level of aldosterone. And aldosterone controls sodium levels in our bodies, sodium and potassium. So if we consume high levels of sodium during this phase of our cycle, we might feel the effect more in these final weeks before our period versus any other phase in our cycle consuming the same amount of sodium. You can combat this with sodium's natural counterpart, which I already mentioned, potassium. Foods high in potassium include asparagus, cantaloupe, carrots, prunes, dates, broccoli, spinach, and bananas. So if you are someone that deals with bloating during this time, then consider adding in some ginger tea. So ginger is a carminative, meaning that it breaks up gas in the stomach, and it could be a great aid for those with uncomfortable bloating. Here's a follow-up video on breast tenderness, and then here's one on bloating. Both of those will be in the description below, so you can watch them after this video too, so for more specific follow-up information. So finally, number 5 category. Let's address one of the other most common symptoms, period pain. This includes the category of cramps and headaches. So those are both due to higher levels of estrogen and leading to high levels of prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are formed in the uterus, and they actually help shed the lining of the uterus. They are necessary, but like anything, too much can lead to not fun symptoms and the pain we experience. And what else? Not so fun. Prostaglandins can migrate to the gut, causing diarrhea, and to the brain, causing headaches. And that seems pretty freaking unfair. So with these symptoms, make sure you're doing all the estrogen balancing tips I mentioned when I was talking about anxiety, like reducing our exposure to BPAs, environmental estrogens, eating more fibrous foods, resolving constipation, eating enough sources of B12. Do all those things. Also add in prostaglandin reducing foods like omega-3s. So that includes salmon, eggs, avocado, and flax seeds. And if you are a personal trainer or someone who wants to learn about hormone optimization for yourself, you would greatly benefit from one of my 2 programs. The first is for personal trainers in the Confident Menstrual Cycle Coach Academy. So in the academy, I empower fitness coaches to become confident with science-based cyclical fitness and nutrition in order to optimize their clients' hormones and serve more female clients. And in my Fitness Flow method, I take my own clients and I help my clients get fit using their menstrual cycle, reduce PMS, and master their hormones. Links to both of those are going to be below this video in the description, and I will say that they're both application only. So those links will take you to an application interview. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, I have tons of resources just for you. This page was meant for hormone optimization education, so make sure you share it with a friend who wants to optimize their hormones. Remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and leave me a comment telling me your biggest takeaway, because all of those things really help us spread free hormone optimization education in the YouTube algorithm. And make sure to check out this playlist on reducing PMS. I'll see you there. Bye.